How important do you think it is that this climate change is obviously a problem that affects a number of different sectors, political, economic? What role can science play in mitigating the effects of climate change?
Well, I think a technology transfer and the management of technology is the basic things, to manage all the disasters and to make a better future. And to do that, we need a higher education and putting so much emphasis on higher education for the future.
And Japan is a very proud country, and it has a very proud technological history. What particularly impresses you about the work that? Japan. I'll do that again. Japan is a very proud country, and it has a very proud history in technological innovation.
Yes.
What particularly impresses you about the work that you and your students have been doing at the Tokyo University of Science?
Okay. Well, we are sending graduates to our industrial sectors, and also to the sending mathematics and science teachers to first elementary and secondary schools. And for the graduate who are working for JR, we had a tsunami and disaster last March, and none of bullet trains, which we call a Shinkansen, had any disasters at all. And why they avoid all the disasters? It is a system to feel the first wave of earthquake and send it to the satellite, and the satellite will return a response to the center control office of a bullet train, and they stopped it before actually tsunami came over. So it was all safe, and nobody was killed by tsunami or earthquake at all on the trains. And there were a lot of trains running between the areas which was affected by earthquake and tsunami. But we are very proud of our high technology, which nobody was killed at all by the trains or the factories.
And you mentioned the tsunami. What impact do you feel the tsunami has had on Japan as a country, but also its relationship with energy and its feelings about climate change?
Yes. We were really feared about earthquake and tsunami, but earthquake, we almost conquered it. But tsunami, the last one was extremely big one, bigger than we ever expected. And also hit the Fukushima nuclear plant, was really a serious disaster, which made the people really feared about nuclear power stations. And now we are thinking about more nuclear disasters rather than CO2, which we've been talking about last 10 years or so. But all the attentions of all the people are shifted from CO2 to nuclear disasters, which may affect for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, which we never know. And the next generation's worry is really serious for any mothers too. And we're really worried about the next generation, or the pregnant ladies, or the babies, and the especially younger generation before 20 years old.
Yeah, and that's very interesting because one massive wave and a devastating wave changed the whole political landscape in Japan. Do you think that proves that it's doubly important that science should play a role to ensure that cheaper renewable technologies are available, and that's a long-term project rather than a short-term political aim?
Yeah, that's right. And we have to keep our species, human beings, and to keep the human being species, we better avoid the bad affection from the nuclear, which may affect our very good DNA in the future. And that's really our worries, present worries now, after tsunami disasters.
And finally, Professor, Japan hasn't hasn't been too optimistic. At least the Japan delegation haven't been too optimistic about these talks. They're not minded to plump for a second
well,
commitment period to
yeah,
Kyoto.
yeah.
What are your reasonable hopes from these talks?
Well, I think CO2 problems and global warming is really important as well. However, we have experienced the more fears from nuclear disasters, and we have to really think about carefully for how we secure the energy in the future, and which is the most important thing for us to be questioned by the whole Earth, I guess. Thank you very much, Ed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.